You need to be starting a blog in 2026. It's a need, okay? What's poppin' YouTube? It's your girl Lana Yazmeen and I'm back with another video. And today we gotta talk about Instaread and blogs and starting a blog in 2026. Like, what if I told you that every single article on your website with one click can be instantly read out loud? Not read, listened to. And what if that actually costed you nothing and actually paid you back? When I found out about this tool, I had to do a double take because back in 2020, I was literally looking for a tool like this to put on my blog site. It's called the Instaread Audio Player, and I want to walk you through exactly what it does, how it works, and why I think a lot of you running blogs, newsletters, news sites, and any other kind of website that you gotta read something on, why y'all should all know about this, okay? Here is something nobody tells you when you start publishing online. Reading is losing. People are busy, they're driving, they're cooking, they're at the gym, they're folding laundry at 11 p.m. And you've written this amazing 2,000 word piece. 2,000, babe, 2,000. But they don't have the screen time to read it. So what happens? They bounce. Your time on page tanks, Google notices, and that beautiful article just sits there. So how does this work? You drop a single line of code on your website and instantly every article gets a little audio player right below the headline. Reader clicks to play and a natural sounding AI voice reads the article to them out loud, and boom, you're done. No recording studio, no editing, no audio files to host, no RSS feed to maintain, nothing. You don't do anything. The player just shows up, it worked, and your reader starts listening to your article in seconds. So there are 5 reasons that you should be using Instaread right now. 5. 1, you reach a wider audience. Don't we all want to broaden our audiences? I feel like that's self-explanatory. We all want a broader audience. This will broaden your audience. 2, it actually generates revenue by running short ads through the player on your blog. So it's making you money, sis. Or sir. And it costs zero. You see that? $0. 3, it boosts SEO and engagement by keeping people on the page longer. 4, it's lightweight. It does not slow down your site. That's a big one because I tried to put an audio player in on my Base 44 site and it slowed everything down. I ain't like it. I was like, why are we moving so slow? What's going on right now? 5, you get a full analytics dashboard complete with average completion time, monthly revenue, daily listening time, and so much more. Get the more. Now look, is this a magic bullet? No. An AI generated voice is not going to replace a human narrator on a premium audiobook. But that's not what this is. The point is that now every article you publish has a second life in a format that people actually have time for. It's not replacing your writing. It's extending it into audio. And the fact that they've made it completely free for publishers and still monetized it through ads, that's genuinely a smart model. The publisher wins, the reader wins, and Instaread wins. If you run a blog site, a news site, a Substack with a web preference, anything you can publish articles. Go check them out. Go check them out. The link is in the description below. It takes about 2 minutes to set up. So, would you like to add an audio player to your site? Genuinely curious. Let's move on to some other things about blogs in 2026. You need to be starting a blog in 2026. It's a need, okay? Given the current state of the economy, if you're a person that likes to talk about anything, a blog will give you a way to monetize that speech, okay? When it comes to starting a blog in 2026, I think the biggest thing everybody needs to know is that a lot of these blog sites don't let you own your work. Technically, you don't own it anymore once it's published on that blog site. So how do we get around that? You have to choose the right hosting platform. WordPress has a hosting platform called WordPress.com. Stay away from that. Stay away from that. Shopify lets you post blogs on your Shopify site. Stay away from that. The second you don't pay, blog is gone. Stay away from that. What you want to do is you want to get the WordPress plugin and you want to add that to a hosting site. I'll try to drop some links to people who talk about all this stuff because they talk about it better. They show better examples. I'm just here to relay you a little information. So me personally, I do my blog site WordPress through Hostinger. Hostinger charged me $80 for 2 years, which is better than Shopify because through Shopify, I was spending at least $300 to $400 every 2 years just to keep my website up. Next, let's talk about how to come up with some topics for your blog. I think the biggest thing when it comes to coming up with topics for your blog is you, okay? Before anything, you need to know what you actually like to write about, because content creation is a long-term game. It's not a short-term game. And yes, there are people out there who can totally create content completely dissociated from themselves. They're creating content about dogs. They don't even own a dog. There are people who can do that. But when you're trying to make content creation your everyday life for the rest of your life, and you also want to be authentic in life, you don't want to feel like you've created yourself another job, it is fundamental to be interested in what you're doing. So my blog, because I'm interested in spirituality, my blog is dedicated solely around astrology, numerology, gemstones, and physical content creation, because those are the things that I like to do. A lot of people get you caught up in the you gotta get the numbers, but content is a consistency game. You do need the numbers, don't get me wrong, but you can fix the numbers through promotion. You can't fix your relatability if you're not relatable on the camera when you make the video, or when you're typing in your article, I should say, because we're not talking about videos, we're talking about articles. You want the voice of your article to sound natural. You want to create your own voice, and it's kind of hard to do that when you don't necessarily care about what you're talking about. So I think the biggest thing when it comes to choosing a blog topic is to actually be choosing it based on something you care about. What do you care about? You care about dogs? Boom, now you have a general niche. Let's say you care about dogs. Now, from that, this is what I care about and what I want to do. Now you find your problem, right? What problem within the dogosphere can I talk about that will generate buzz? You feel me? Like, for me, the problem in the dogosphere that got me a lot of views was coronavirus. I taught people how to cure their dog from coronavirus, and that video has over 100,000 views. 100,000? Or it might be 11,000. I don't remember. So find what you care about and then dive deeper into what the issues are in what you care about. You could very well start a blog about landscaping, but if you're not interested in landscaping, how consistent do you really think you'll be keeping up that blog? And then from there, it's really quite simple, because once you've identified what you like to talk about, and then you've identified a couple sets of problems within what you want to talk about, you just talk about those problems. And then as you generate more people coming to your page and like seeing your stuff, as you post your blog page other places, Pinterest, people will start commenting and they'll tell you what they want to see. And then you can just start pivoting your passion project from what you're solely passionate about to answering the questions of people who are also passionate about the same thing you're passionate about. Right? So lastly, let's talk about some small things you need to remember when you're running a blog, right? 1, make sure you're posting frequently. It is hard to get lost in the Google algorithm when you're posting frequently and when you have a post for everything, okay? 2, make sure you're updating frequently, okay? See, on these sites, they'll have plugins, and if you don't update the plugins on time, Well, I won't even say on time, in a timely manner, because they update like every day. So if you're not updating them plugins like once a week, it opens your site up to hackers and all kind of crazy stuff and all kind of just wildness to happen to your site. You don't want that. Make sure you're updating the plugins frequently, at least once a week. 3, find your own voice. Find your own voice. Find your own voice. I feel like I shouldn't have to say that so much, but it's really something I noticed that people don't really understand, is that when people read articles, they hear a voice in their head while they're reading it. And you can change that voice depending on what you write in the article. So if you want the voice to sound satirical, you write satirical, and people will hear that in their head. You need to find your own voice. Whatever it is you feel like, this is how I talk, this is how I want to put it out there. Yes, use Grammarly and autocorrect to help you, but don't let it change your voice. Grammarly is good for that. It will change your voice, okay? Don't let it do that. If you want to say extra words because those words accurately describe how you talk and your personality, you want to be like, oh, and I certainly do. Like, and you want to write that in your article, Grammarly will try to take that out. Don't let them take that out. That is your voice, okay? Use Pinterest for promotion. I don't even know. I feel like I could scream that to the gods. Use Pinterest for promotion. Y'all don't understand how goated Pinterest is when it comes to promoting articles. Everybody on Pinterest is looking for articles. They're looking for information. They're on there solely to get new information without searching Google. Use it. I used Pinterest in 2020 for my first blog, and I had over 100,000 views every month. Pinterest. And lastly, you have to remember that you have to build traffic before you can get placements. You have to apply for ads to be added to your website in the little around screens, and you need traffic to apply. So you want to get on Pinterest, you want to get that traffic, and then you want to go looking for the little companies that add the ads to the sides of your website. That is how you're going to guarantee that when you apply for them, you actually get ad placements. If you don't have any traffic on your website, they're not going to place the ads on your site. That's all I have for you today on starting a blog in 2026. Make sure you get Instaread. Make sure you get on Pinterest. Make sure you find your own voice, and make sure you talk about something you can consistently talk about. That's really it. And I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. See you next week or the week after. We're gonna work on the consistency of these videos. But yeah, bye.